Greetings gamers, Sir Georgeous here. Today we're going to be talking about Dark Side territory battles, specifically the Bounty Hunters and the Phase 5 Special Mission. If you follow this guide exactly, you will not lose the Phase 5 Bounty Hunter Special Mission ever again. One of the reasons for that is because I learned while studying the gameplay is that the special missions always have the exact same enemy lineup. The normal combat missions, they have a random toons generated. So you might get 2 of this character, 1 of this other, 2 of another. Some might be elite, some might not. But for special missions, they are all predefined. They might be arranged differently, but they're all the same enemies in the same number. Now, most players have been upset that they have to build up these bounty hunters just for this one area of the game. But I'm here to tell you that you do not need to build them up, that you can complete all the phases up to phase 5 with gear 8 bounty hunters and finish this special mission with flying colors. The key is going to be the great synergy that they have under a Boba Fett lead, specifically with Zam Wesell. She's going to be the hero of this entire thing. My Boba Fett and my IG-88 are both gear 11, but that really doesn't affect whether we win or lose this match. The first wave is always going to have 1 rebel pilot, 2 rebel spies, 1 rebel officer, and 2 rebel soldiers. Now the kill order is going to be the rebel pilot first, because he's the one that can dispel, and for this strategy we need to have the thermal detonators. We'd like to get to the rebel spies, but they're going to stay in stealth till the end, so the next enemy we're going to kill is the rebel officer. The rebel soldiers, they're just tanks that just sit there, and they won't be a problem once we stun them. There's a lot that goes into Boba Fett's leadership, and I'll try to explain how it benefits you. First thing to note though, is that at the very beginning, all of your bounty hunters get huge boost in their health. And that is because part of Boba Fett's leadership is the combined total of potency from all the bounty hunters on the team. 50% of that is added to your health. So, with my bounty hunters, altogether they have 257.08% potency. So half of that is 128.54%. So that's the health boost that they all get. So Zam Wesell started with 11k. Now she has 25k health at the beginning of the battle. Dengar started with 20k health, despite being only gear 8, and he now has over 40k health at the very start of the battle. So this is why it's far more important to put potency mods and potency crosses on your characters than it is to gear them up. Now your fastest characters naturally are going to be Zam and Boba. And so I'm going to want to get both of their speeds to a plus 60, plus 80 range, bringing them to the 200 to 220 speed. That's because you really want somebody fast to go before the enemy and put as many debuffs as they can. So Boba Fett is going to spread his AoE, putting a debuff on every enemy, which then gives the rest of the bounty hunters plus speed. Lay the thermal detonators down with Zam Wesell. She's going to get speed up, in addition to the plus 90 speed and her already huge base speed, and she's going to be set up for the main strategy. IG-8's going to go, and it's best to target Rebel Pilot. My other toons, besides Boba and Zam, they all are very slow, and it looks like they should have gone after all of the enemies. But because we had those debuffs, all of their speeds got boosted by 90. So now they're able to take turns before the enemy, which is going to be very helpful. So Cad Bane is going to stun Rebel Officer, so that even though Rebel Officer gets foresight from an enemy taking a turn, Zam will still be able to pop the thermal detonator off because of the stun. Now this is the beautiful part in how we are going to get our momentum going without the enemies messing it up. Because if the Rebel spies took a turn, they could be able to put multiple allies in stealth, and then the strategy would be messed up. So Dengar is going to do his AoE, and this is why you want him to have some speed and to have a lot of crit chance. Because if he gets 3 critical hits, all the enemies get minus 50% turn meter, which gives enough time for your characters to take 1 or 2 turns because your speed is so boosted by the leadership. You may also want to make sure your Cad Bane is faster than your Dengar. That way Cad can stun Rebel Officer in case foresight gets up before Dengar has to do his AoE. Now that Zam has gotten to use her basic on an enemy with a thermal detonator, she gets full turn meter again, and all of our allies get plus 15% turn meter. Now Boba gets to take a turn, and that's because he just got turn meter from the thermal detonator explosion. We're going to use him, and we're only going to try to kill and target enemies that don't have a thermal detonator anymore. You never want Zam to have to take a turn where she can't either lay out more or pop one off on an enemy. So he's going to target Rebel Pilot so that no more cleansing of the debuffs can occur. Now she's free to target one of the other characters with thermal detonators. And we're going to bounce around, popping as many thermal detonators as we can before rolling out some more. Targets the officer first so that we don't have to worry about his foresight making her dodge. And now that she has her cooldowns off of her laying the thermal detonators, we're just going to throw some more out there. Another reason why we're killing the officer first after Rebel Pilot is because he can dodge a lot, which will mess up the strategy, as well as heal the team. Now Dengar is very effective at having a stun that occurs if you attack an enemy with over 50% turn meter. So make sure that whoever you're targeting with it has over 50%. Otherwise, use his basic, which is also very useful because it has a 50 to 60% chance to call a random ally to assist. If Zam has been dodged or she just threw out her next wave of thermal detonators, the one time I do like to target an enemy with thermal detonators is when Dengar is using his basic, because it has a 50 to 60% chance to call a random bounty hunter ally to assist. If he calls Zam, then Zam can pop that detonator, get her full turn meter, and you can get the train going a lot sooner than expected. So I'm spreading the damage around and have just killed both of the rebel soldiers. Now I can target both of the stealth enemies with Zam's basic. Now as we head into phase 2, what we're going to try to do is line it up so the cooldowns are low for all of our characters, especially Boba Fett's AoE that puts ability block, Dengar's AoE, and Zam's thermal detonators, so that we can do the exact same strategy for wave 2. The benefit going into wave 2 is that you can have Zam with 100% turn meter starting out. So she can throw her thermal detonators right off the bat, and all your bounty hunters get all this speed right at the beginning without having to wait like you did the first wave. With wave 2, the kill order is going to be the same pretty much. You want to kill the Rebel Pilot first, so that none of the enemies can cleanse the thermal detonators. And then it's a toss between killing Wedge first, killing the officer first, then Biggs, and then finally the Rebel Spy again. So I use Boba's AoE, putting ability block on Rebel Pilot. I throw out the thermal detonators, stun the Rebel Officer. I stunned Wedge, but I should have done the Rebel Officer, and then just start popping off the thermal detonators. At this point you might want to avoid attacking Biggs, because he has the evasion up, and if Zam gets dodged, it will ruin our train, our momentum. So attack everyone besides Biggs, only attack him with Zam if you have to. So I'm spreading around the damage again so that all my bounty hunters stay fast, but use any AoEs you have to deal as much damage and put as much debuffs as you can. So now I throw out some more thermal detonators. I use Dengar's AoE again to reduce their turn meter. They haven't even taken a turn yet, and I've almost beaten the whole thing. Full protection on Dengar and Zam. Another thing that's different in fighting this wave than a normal game is that Biggs does not have his unique ability where if he gets critted against, then he'll get full turn meter. The detonators do a lot of damage as well. I mean, one detonator blowing up does as much damage as Boba Fett's basic, and it does 3 or 4 times as much damage as Zam's basic. So I'm going to kill off the Rebel Officer now so that he can't heal the team. We can go ahead and get Big since his health was so low. Throw out some more thermal detonators. Anytime you run out of targets to hit with your basic, throw out some more thermal detonators. If your thermal detonator special is ever on cooldown and you don't have any more targets because of the Rebel Spies, that's when you want to use Zam's other special, because it will put evasion down on all the enemies and expose. But most importantly, she'll have a chance to gain 50% turn meter. Zam's other special is also a good way of putting debuffs on all the enemies. Oh, this is fun. Let's do execute for 80k! That's great. I hope this video was able to help you guys. Feel free to pull it up and watch it as you go through the battle, and step by step follow the exact same move, and you should have victory. Please leave any thoughts or questions down in the comments, and I'll respond to them, as well as put any ideas you have for future videos. If you want to see more Dark Side territory battles, if you want to see how the bounty hunters do in phase 6. Thank you once again. This is Sir Georgeous signing out. God bless.